Father goes after the stranger and tells him it is poor food. Sorry, we couldn't give you delicious food. We couldn't give you sumptuous food. We have given you what we have. It is poor food, simple, homely food, but you're welcome to it. Mother going up the ladder, taking the man to his bedroom. She tells him, it's a poor room for you, Baron. I don't know. We sleep to the right here. You won't be disturbed if you hear us moving. Mother tells a stranger, we have got a poor, simple room. I don't know whether you'll get sleep, you'll find it comfortable. We sleep to the right here. You won't be trouble if you hear us moving. So don't feel disturbed. Don't feel bad if you hear us moving. And she exit talking. Live from the stove, right? Daughter standing at stove. Father sits down to eat. At right side end of table facing the audience, and father is eating. Father tells the daughter, you're always talking about man. There is one for you. Why don't you go to him? He was looking at you and he's drunk a lot. So father teases his daughter by saying that she always talks about man. Now there is a man in the house, and why doesn't she go to him and stay with him? He was looking at you. Anyway, I think he looked at you, he got attracted by you. Why don't you go and spend your time with him? He was looking at you, and moreover, he's drunk. Daughter bringing soup and pouring it in, tells the father, oh, he is undersized. He doesn't look like a man. He's white handed. He looks pale and dirty little man. He doesn't look attractive. He is an undersized, white-handed, pale, dirty little fellow. I don't like him. He's not a man of my choice. Father says, oh, you're afraid. You're always afraid, aren't you? Come on, daughter say. He's not a man. He's a little weak, chattering, half a man like you. So the daughter says, I'm not afraid to go and talk to him. He's not a man. I don't like him because he's not a man. He's a little weak, chattering fellow, half a man like you. Like you, he's as weak as you are. You are an old man. You are weak. You are half a man. So is that fellow. Father turns round savagely. He gets angry because he is called half a man by his daughter and catches her with a pull wrench by her upper arm. A spoon is knocked from her hand when he catches her angrily. Daughter twists his arm. Daughter twisting her arm free and hitting his hand down without raising her voice. When the father catches her arm, she gets angry. She twists her arm free and hits his hand down without saying anything. And the daughter tells the father, if you hit me, I'll kill you. Goes to sit, right, friend, and sits down with her back to the audience. So she doesn't like her father much. She doesn't care for him. She doesn't respect him. She tells him, if you hit me, I'll kill you. Mother enters with a lamp, places it on the table and puts it out. Asks the husband, have you brought something? Father, no, there is curse on these woods. See, think somebody must have put on a curse on these woods. Oh no, there is a curse on these woods. There is not a hair or a bird in these woods. They're as quiet as a dead. The woods look dead. The entire area is dull and looks dead. You can't catch either a hare or a bird here. You won't get anything to eat. Mother sits down on the further side of the stove. 3/4 face the audience, and she says, we can't get through the winter. We have nothing. So there is nothing in the house. And moreover, this winter season, we are going to have winter season soon. What are we going to eat? We'll really starve to death here. We have nothing. Father, I'm hungry. There is never food enough in this bloody house. There is no living off this land. And father also curses everybody, saying, no food in this house. There is no living of this land. These woods don't give us anything. The land doesn't give us anything. What are we going to do? Are we going to kill ourselves? Mother, oh no, there is nothing left. We had a little food, and when the stranger came in, I gave him all there was. I knew he was a rich man. We'll get enough money from him for 8 days, maybe. So I gave him food because I knew he was a rich man, and we are sure to get something for having given him food. At least for 8 days, we'll have something to eat. And then after 8 days, what are we going to do? Oh, we have always got through. Somehow God will show us a way. Father is getting up excitedly. Father said, oh, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of these things. I'll go off to the towns. There is money there. Why should I stay here and work for you too, as well as myself? Father says, there is no point in living in these woods. I'm tired of living. I'm fed up of living here in these woods. So one day I'll go to the city and live there. There is a lot of money. Why should I stay here and work for the two women, you and a daughter? I'll go off alone. You stay here. I'll go alone. Catches sight of watch. Look at that. Why should he have that and we be starving? Suddenly he looks at the gold watch given to them by the stranger and he asks his wife, why should he have that and we are starving? Look at this man. He has got so much of money and he has got a gold watch. He has got so much of gold with him. And when he has so much, we are starving. We have nothing. It would keep us a year. How did he get it? Who is he? Why did he talk like that? I don't understand. He has got so much of gold. I think we should get it. At least for 1 year, we won't have any difficulty provided we get whatever he has. Mother, I don't know. He had drunk. He looks like a rich man, but he's quite drunk. Father, he's mad, I say. Who ever heard tell of a man walking through these woods because he liked it if he wasn't mad? See, just think of what he told us. He told us that he enjoyed walking through the woods. He came walking because he liked it. Do you think any man who is sensible would do that? I think he's mad. And in that coat and with a bag, see, do you think a man ever will enter a forest wearing that kind of a coat and carrying such a huge bag? Daughter, no one saw him come. The daughter is having some other ideas and she tells father and mother, no one saw him come into a house. Mother, if he is mad, we might get a reward for keeping him. See, if he's a mad fellow, we might get a reward, we might get a gift for handing him over to the parents, handing him over to the police. We may get a reward from the police or his parents. His parents would be really rich. They must be missing him, so we'll hand him over to the parents. The parents will give us something. Father, I don't think he's mad, but he's very strange. He's queer, strange. Something was driving him mad. I don't understand what. Why should he have come here? I don't know what made him come here and carrying all that money the way he talked about it. Do you think that is his money? Mother and daughter look at each other, scarcely moving their heads at intervals through the conversation. So, mother, when he asks a question whether the money that he has indeed belongs to him, mother and daughter agree with what he say. They look at each other. They don't move their heads at intervals through the conversation. They are engrossed in the conversation about the stranger. Mother, if it is not his, so the mother is also getting some ideas. Father, he indeed looked like a thief. He's a thief manner he is. So he must have robbed somebody of his money and gold. This fellow looks like a thief. I don't think the money belongs to him. He stole it, I say. He's escaping. He's running away, or he's trying to hide in a house. That's why he came. He wanted a hiding place. That's why he must have come here. Daughter. See, no one knows he's here. Daughter tells mother, father, nobody knows that he has come here to hide himself. Mother, if he's a thief, we might get a reward for giving him up something. So if he's a mad fellow, we'll get some reward from the parents for handing him over to them. And if he is a thief, we'll get a reward from the police if we hand him over to them. Father, snatching down the watch, says, this gold thing and all that money, what right has he to it? See, he has got a gold watch and he has got so much of money. I don't think he has got the right to keep everything for himself because it doesn't belong to him. He must have stolen it from someone else. There may be people starving because he stole it and he looked exactly like a thief. And because he has stolen money from others, those people must be really starving. The people who are robbed of their gold and money must be starving. So this man is a thief. He doesn't have the right to keep whatever he has. Daughter, he was a little weak, undersized man. There is a pause when the daughter says so much and keeps quiet. There is a pause. Father, leaning against the end of the table, says, say, I'm working and keeping you two and doing my best and I'm starving. See, during the daytime, I go out to work because I need to take care of you both. I'm doing my best. I earn money, but still I'm starving. And look at this fellow. He's a thief and alone, and he has got all that money. If there were God, would he let that be? Look at this fellow. He's a thief. Without doing any work, he has stolen money and he has become rich. Do you think God will allow that? No, God will be really against him. Mother, Ivan, what are you talking about? There is pause. Father, as if unwillingly and still louder, we have as good right to it as him. What is money to a hunted man alone? Then father tells his daughter and wife, we have got a right to get what he has because the money that he has got doesn't belong to him. He has taken it from someone else. So a hunted man doesn't have the right to keep whatever he has. So I think we should get a share of what he has. Mother, don't shout loudly. You will wake him up. He'll hear what we are saying. Father, much lower. Why do I care if he hears? I'm not bothered about I'm not bothered whether he hears us or not because he's a dirty thief.